So it is about 9:43 Eastern Standard Time. I got my man DesPain here with me on the pod. How you feeling, man?
Feeling good. Can't complain. God is good. You know what
Uh,
I'm saying?
yeah, fast, man. Yeah, man. People take it for granted a lot just to see another day on this earth, man. So we need some more of that
Facts.
positivity, I think, around. A lot of people need to have that mentality and everything. All
Mm-hmm.
right. So before we get into the from divisional round talk coming up this weekend, I wanted to get your quick thoughts on Harbaugh to the Giants. Were you a fan of that move? Do you think it's a good long term for the Giants? I see um some different takes on it throughout all day on various sports shows and everything. I personally like
hmm
it. I think it's a good fit for him in New York. I wonder if you share the same sentiment.
Yeah, I mean, that was I think his first visit, right? And it became his only visit, so that means he likes it. Because I think came down to Harbaugh. It didn't come down to these teams. These teams don't. He's the one who has to be like, yo, I'm gonna be here. So I think the fact that the Giants was able to sell it to him, hard body, and he was willing to take the deal, and whatever role. I mean, the rumor is what he's gonna make close to 20 million a year, which would make him the highest paid coach. And also, I don't know if he's gonna be asking or given the keys to the front office as well. So I mean, hey, why not? I mean, he's a culture type of dude. Like he brought a certain type of culture to Baltimore when he got there. Obviously, the end was not as bright, unfortunately. I mean, it's not. I shouldn't even say that. They won what? They won the division last year. You know what I'm saying? Like they were like they play in a tough
Yeah,
division. Like you're going against Pittsburgh, who has
they were.
they had a coach who was always above 500. The Bengals, when they're healthy, is not an easy team to beat. And then Cleveland, although they haven't been the best franchise in the last decade, they play tough. You know what I'm saying? They've won a couple division. They've won double digit wins before in this last 5 years too. So it's not a fluke that how well Baltimore played. He coached a two-time MVP. Um, he's a coach. Like I said, he's a culture starter, man. He continued a culture that Baltimore already had, but he made it more of what he did. And he also, to his credit, has hired some good coaches as well that have become pretty good head coaches in after the fact. So yeah, I mean, I like the hire. I mean, the Giants are not the Jets. You know what I'm saying? Like they actually, they're having some tough years, but they know how to win. They've known how to win. They're in the NFC East is always up for grabs every year if you are healthy enough. So I like the hire. I like it. I like it for him. He doesn't have to go too far from where he's at, and that's a good ownership over there too. So it should work out.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I like the move. I like the situation that he's in. I think that they have a good, solid young core there with Jackson Dart, Malik Neighbors, Cam Scatterboo, and everything. And I think that they needed like a voice who has been. I think it's better that to have a voice that's seasoned, that's been in the league for a while. And I see a lot of
hmm
people that are trying to say, "Oh, well, he couldn't really do anything with Lamar Jackson." I mean, I just think that like a lot of things, like a lot of relationships, some things run its course, and I think that that was the case for him in Baltimore, being there for
hmm
18 seasons and everything. He got a Super
Right.
Bowl. He's been to conference. I know he didn't get a Super Bowl with Lamar Jackson, but they did go to a conference championship game like 2 years ago. I think he's had success there. Did he win at a high level consistently, like in terms of like several championships? No, but he's still successful. So I think that he is somebody who can. You're not going to question as to whether or not they can deal with that monster that is the New York media, the biggest media market in the country. Yeah,
Yeah.
Baltimore's not a big market or a glamorous market, but I feel like Baltimore fans are diehard, similar to New York fans, and his
hmm
personality is gonna be he's gonna be able to adapt quickly to the New York media market. He's not going to be somebody who's as timid in anything or
Yeah. I don't
like
think he's
that
gonna
feel
be
like
intimidated
overwhelmed
by.
being in that
Yeah.
situation.
I don't think he's gonna be intimidated whatsoever in that situation. I mean, it's still the
Hmm.
Baltimore's still considered the Northeast. Their fan base is somewhat tough as well, but pretty reasonable. But they were tired of him too. I remember when I saw the firing happen. I was on Twitter and all the fans were like elated, like they were happy. But it's like you said, it's really about like when you overstayed your welcome type of deal. You know what I'm saying? And to be honest with you, he could have been fired years ago, but because Lamar was just so dynamic,
Yeah.
winning MVPs and you know what I'm saying, like you mentioned, going to an AFC championship game, like it wouldn't be right for the ownership to be like, yeah, let's can this dude. Like, nah, he got what he got a lot out of his players, and that's all you need. That's all you can ask for from a head coach is to get as much as you can from the players that you're coaching. So I love the hire. I think it's a good hire. The dominoes are falling now, so we'll see how it looks like going forward, where everybody else ends up going, who else is going to get hired, and this is like one of the more exciting parts of the off season, well, the postseason, going into the off season of the NFL. That you see these type of hirings happening and all that good stuff.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I really think that this is gonna put the Giants back on the right track because this is like the strongest voice they had since Coughlin, right? Like
Mhm.
the strongest personality I think that they had, and I think you need that in New York. But we can go on to now the divisional game set for this weekend. Is there any game that you are looking forward to the most of the 4 games that are slated for the weekend, or any game that intrigues you the most?
Ooh, I think the most intriguing game for me would be I have two: the Rams, Bears, and Buffalo, Denver. Because now I have updated my
Ooh.
predictions for the Super Bowl. I feel like it's more likely to be the Rams versus the Buffalo Bills, but this has been a weird year in the NFL. Like I did not expect New England to be a 13-win team, or were they a 14 team? Yeah, a 14-win team.
A
Did
14 win
not
team.
expect.
14 win team.
Yeah, I didn't expect them to be a 14-win team. I did not expect Kansas City to fall on their face the way they did. I didn't expect, after the Michael Parsons trade, the Green Bay Packers going on a 5-game losing streak to end the year. I didn't expect the Bears to be in this position to win the division. I didn't expect 3 teams out of the NFC West to be in the playoffs and still in the playoffs. So we might have an all NFC West NFC Championship game next weekend, more likely. Um, there's a lot of unexpected. I didn't expect Drake May to be an MVP candidate. You know what I'm saying? Like I didn't expect any of those things, but that's kind of the beauty of this new era of the sport. Like you're gonna start seeing other names and faces and other teams come out the woodwork, and the NFL does a pretty good job of building up parity in the league. So it should be exciting for a lot of fan bases to be able to see their favorite teams or favorite players be successful in the postseason.
Okay. Well, let's start off with because I think I had the Rams at the Bears as my favorite um, game I'm looking forward to this
Mhm.
weekend. So why is that the case for you?
I think it's gonna be fun to watch. Like the Rams with the most. I mean, let's be honest. He more likely will be the MVP of the league, Matthew Stafford. But the Bears and their opportunistic defense and Caleb Williams' fourth quarters, Matthew Stafford and his offense with Puka Nakua, Devontae Adams. Like I'm interested to watch it because I want to see is are the I can see. Here's the thing: I can see the Rams taking care of business better than the Packers did. The Packers are are a team that can be super duper aggressive and put their foot on your neck, and then they're like, okay, we'll let you breathe, and you can have some water, and here's a snack. Oh, you're winning now. Okay, let's see if we could find a way to win our. No, that's how the Packers play, and it's so super annoying because being a fan of them, I've seen the ups and downs of that, and it's tough to watch sometimes. But I feel like a coach like Sean McVay, he has such a big bag of tricks, and I'm not talking about trick plays. I'm talking about he has different formations, he has different like personnel groupings, like there's a reason why Stafford is more likely to be MVP is and I'm so tired of like seeing people's comparisons, and I get it. If you're a Patriot fan, you really want Drake May to win it because it makes that draft pick look even greater from last year. You're like, wow, see what we got it right. Our team got it right. You know what I'm saying? Cool. But to say that Matthew Stafford has this, that, and the third, and that's why he's gonna win it, bro, he's had weapons the most of his career in LA, and this is the best seasons he's ever had in his life. He's never had a better season besides going to win a Super Bowl, and he wasn't even the MVP of the Super Bowl. So we can't say Matthew Stafford has always been this guy. He's at an age where some of the greatest quarterbacks we've watched actually started winning MVPs still, or getting themselves towards Super Bowls and NFC or AFC championships. Example: Brady, Breeze, Rogers, even Roethlisberger before he started really getting banged up. Those guys, when they were in their mid-30s to close to late 30s, they were still playing in a high level, and that means game got easier right then and there. And I think I seen a video of Brady talking about how his mid-30s, he knew he was really good at football. It was until he was in his 40s that the game was so slow to him and so easy. It was that's why he kept playing. He mastered the game of football by the time he turned 40. But we're talking about Brady, who's saying
Yeah,
by
I
the
saw
time
that
he
clip.
was
But
damn old, saying that he mastered the game that old in his career. So you can't underestimate what Matthew Stafford has done. You can't underestimate what Drake May has done. But we can't use a quarterback's roster or what they have to prove a point of a debate. Like that's not how you do it. So, but I'm interested to see it. I'm interested to see how the Rams do against the Bears, because the Bears have been playing cardiac Chicago Bear football since God knows when. They've been, once the fourth quarter hits, it doesn't matter if you have three scores ahead of them, they're going to find a way somehow to make it a game. So it's going to be fun to watch.
well, yeah. So I hear that. So I think the reason why I'm so intrigued about it is I love the storylines. We got like these. We got one side. We got an established head coach quarterback duo in McVay and Stafford. Then we got an up
Hmm.
and coming head coach duo in why am I blanking on homie's name, man? Ben Johnson and Caleb Williams and everything. The
Hmm.
Rams,
Yep.
high, like best offense in the league, prolific
Yep.
offense.
Yep.
You got Puka Nacua, who's been the best receiver this season. Yeah, Devonta Adams didn't have a big game, but he just came off a hamstring injury. So is he going to pick it up and everything as this postseason goes along? Will they have a big showing on I think they play Saturday or Sunday? I forget
Yeah,
what day
it's
they
going to be
play on.
Saturday
But yeah,
night.
will they have a big? Yeah. So will they have a big showing in the divisional round? And then of course there's the Bears. We talk about the cardiac Bears. I believe they had 7 fourth quarter comebacks this season.
Just
They just
crazy.
find a way. Some reason. I don't know how they're doing it, but they're doing
I
it.
don't know how
Now
they
I
do it,
am
man.
worried
It's just
though,
crazy.
and also too the weather. I think it's going to be a high of 19 degrees, and you would think that would favor Chicago, seeing how they're playing a team that's based in LA. However, last
Hmm.
season in the divisional round, Stafford went crazy against the Eagles. That came down to like the final play, and they could have won that game, and he
Hmm.
went crazy in the snow, in not
Exactly.
in bad conditions. So why can't he do that again? I think he can.
Yeah, I agree. Um, and that's the other thing too. I feel like I get it. People see the data and they see how like indoor teams, quote unquote, they tend to struggle in outdoor stadiums or whatever. I'm like, this is football, bro. Like most of these guys had played football in college, high school, whether it be in rain, snow, super hot weather, comfortable weather, it doesn't matter. You know what they do during the week? They're not practicing outside all the time. And if they are practicing outside, they're bundled up in their sweats and their hoodies and all that stuff. Like nobody's really training for cold weather games. You just have to have the mentality for a cold weather game. I think a guy like a Puka Nakua or Stafford have the Devontae Adams he played in Green Bay. You know what I'm saying? Like these guys, you can't say just because a team from LA or a team from Houston or you name it is going from one place to the other in what you would consider a cold environment, and they're going to struggle. That's not it's all about mentality. It's not about the weather, really. The weather's the weather, because guess who else gets affected by the weather? The home team too, because they're not really practicing in the cold. They're practicing like the Patriots, for example. If you drive by Gillette, their practice stadium is next door and it's indoors. They practice indoors during the cold.
Yeah.
Now, I'm talking about like crazy cold, not like 35 degrees, 40 degrees. They might be outside, but more likely they would prefer to practice indoors. Probably bring the temperature down a little bit just so the guys get the feel of like getting the cold in the skin or whatever. But nobody's really practicing in the elements like that. So it's just about your toughness when the game actually starts. You know what I mean? So I don't think the weather will play a huge factor for all these teams that are playing this weekend. Um, like even like you could use Seattle for example. If they have downpour rain, Sam Darnold starts fumbling around. You think just because he's a Seattle Seahawk, he suddenly has some type of superpower to not fumble the ball in the rain? He might. You freaking don't know. So it's like it, we just gotta let the game play out as it is. The Bears should technically have the advantage. They're staying at home. That's the advantage they have. They didn't have to leave. They're not in no hotel room. They're coming from their crib. They could drive right in, no problem. You know what I'm saying? And that's the advantage you have for being at home. It's not really the weather, in my opinion. Not in this modern NFL, in my like it is what it is. I love how people try to use that as their reasons to choose a team over another, but I don't think that's what it is these days.
Yeah, I hear that. So we did talk about the cardiac Bears. There are several comebacks they had this season. Now, I don't think that they want to get themselves in that situation again this week, just because that pass rush got can't hold up against the offense, man. The offense is too potent. So if you find yourself in that situation, being down like 3 scores again in the game, more than likely you're going to lose. I think in this situation, if you want to win and advance to the conference championship game, they have to be aggressive from the start on both sides of the ball. That being the Bears, and I'm sure Ben Johnson is going to relay that to his team has throughout the week and everything. But which is why I would probably lean towards the Rams advancing just because of that offense, man, and what I've seen so far this season. And said Matthew Stafford is playing at the best level of his highest level he's played at in his career so far. Puka Nacua, best receiver in the league this season. So then you got Higbee, you got Devonta Adams and everything. It's like, it's a lot to deal with, man. So I'm
Yeah,
definitely leaning towards the Rams.
yeah, that's a good point. Like, the Bears are fortunate they had to play Green Bay 3 times in 6 weeks, so you didn't really see nothing different. And all 3 times, Green Bay was ahead going into halftime and ahead going into the fourth quarter. It's just Green Bay decided to like take their foot off the pedal, and because it's either a lack of respect of Caleb Williams and his magic, or the lack of respect for the fact that the Bears defense actually stepped up and stopped the Packers when it mattered most. So I don't think the Rams are the Packers. I think they're definitely a better team than the Packers, and they'll definitely defend the ball better, I would assume. They weren't looking too hot against Carolina at some points. Jared Verse somehow disappeared, but he has to step up. And I said it in my pod last week. Like that Rams defense is gonna be what makes them win these. Like we know what Stafford and his offense can do, and Stafford is prone to making mistakes. He's not perfect, and most quarterbacks during the playoffs are gonna make mistakes. We seen it all weekend last weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Every single quarterback made a mistake. You understand? But it comes down to that defense of yours that if they're resilient enough to make a stop or get the ball back for you, that's all that matters. Because football is the ultimate team sport. You need all 3 phases to be on par in order for you to win. It sounds cute when people say your quarterback has to be the elite in that game. You don't really need your quarterback to be elite to win the game in the NFL. So, but I agree with you. I'm
That's
leaning the
true. You really
Rams.
don't.
I'm leaning the Rams in this game as well. And it's not because I hate the Bears, but It'll taste sweeter if they do.
All right. So the other game you mentioned, the Bills at the Broncos. Let me guess. Is one of the reasons why you're looking forward to that game, intrigued by it, is like has to do with Josh Allen and his quote unquote legacy. I hate that word gets thrown around so much in sports takes, but whatever.
Mm,
Like saying, oh, finally there's a postseason where there's no Mahomes, no Burrow, no Allen, sorry, no Jackson, and now it's an easy road for not a sense an easy road, but it's an easier path to navigate to get to the Super Bowl as opposed to previous years. I hate that only because we are. It's not like these quarterbacks play defense, right? It's a team game, what the football is. So I hate that we try to say use that logic and everything. But that's what drives stories, drives like views to certain people's podcasts and pages and everything. But I'm guessing that's probably why you're intrigued is Josh Allen going up against this elite defense across the board in Denver with lack of weapons right now in Buffalo with all the injuries they have to Gabe Davis and Cher as well. And they weren't like really necessarily elite in the wide receivers room anyways to begin
mhm,
with.
mhm,
So now
mhm.
a depleted team heading into Denver, a team that is fresh off a bye, and it's got the number one seed in the conference. So I'm guessing that's why.
Yeah, I mean, my reason is more or less to do the fact I can see the magic already happening. Like this is one of those. This is one of those moments where you feel like it's probably scripted, because he's the lone, like, with all due respect to Drake May, he's still a second year quarterback. We really don't know what we're gonna see. Drake May might even make it to a Super Bowl this year and lose. We don't know what that looks like. You know what I'm saying? Like, even if he does win it this year, that's probably one of the greatest second year outside of Tom Brady, in which is full circle for the Patriots, right? But if but because Buffalo Bills and with the whole situation with McDermott, I'm one of those people. I don't really not like him, but he's gonna get canned no different than John Harbaugh did, if they don't win a Super Bowl or make it there, because like you said, it's an easier path now. But you know how this shit goes. Like you said, the media will love him for making it, but they also will say, well, he got some help. He didn't have to go against Burrow. He didn't have to go against Lamar. He didn't have to go against Mahomes. This, that, and the third. It's like, what do you want from people these days, man? Like, what do you really want? Like, the guy is truly, like, in any other year, I would still consider him the MVP. Like, he's clearly playing MVP basketball. I was about to say basketball. Clearly playing MVP football, and he has nobody to throw it to. Like, he has the two tight ends, a bunch of guys. He's throwing the ball to Brandon Cooks. That's how crazy it is right now. He's throwing the ball to Brandon Cooks. You know what I'm saying? And then his best weapon is his running back. And in this time of the year, the hardest thing you can do is run the ball. You know what I'm saying? So listen, I'm intrigued by it because I want to see him succeed. He deserves it. I think he's one of the more humble quarterbacks or NFL players we've been able to see. He's a reigning MVP of the league. Um, and let's not act like that win against the Jags was just a regular ass win. That was a tough motherfucking win. He did his thing. That team did his thing. Like, he truly moved that ball like a true MVP of this league. So, um, and also, I'm not gonna be the one to talk about, oh, I think Denver's full goal. Everybody can say that about any team. You need a little bit of luck to get this far in the NFL anyway. So, yeah, Bo Nix might not be everybody's cup of tea, but who is when they start their career? Like, yes, Drake May is kicking ass second year. Bo Nix made it to a playoffs last year, and people still throwing dirt in his name as if he's supposed to have elite numbers. He wasn't the number one or two or three pick in the draft. He was a 10th pick. And matter of fact, I don't even think he was a 10th pick. I think he was just an early teens pick by Denver. And they took a chance at him because he wasn't even projected to be a first rounder. All right. So
Mm.
the fact that the kid is able to he's capable in an offense that's ran by Sean Payton, it's not easy, man. So he works for what they do, and that's what all that matters. That defense is pretty damn elite. So it's gonna be a great matchup to watch. Honestly, like watching the reigning MVP against one of the best defenses of this season. So I think it should be must see TV for a lot of people.
Yeah, I mean, so this is a rematch of the wild card round matchup last year, and was Buffalo won 31-7. I think it's safe to say that it's not going to go that way again in terms of like that the gap
Yeah.
in terms of the score of the game. Seeing how the defense has picked it up a lot in Denver and everything. But then you mentioned about the Broncos and their offense or lack thereof, the consistency on that side of the ball is some cause for concerns. That's one of the things that can derail them in making it to the Super Bowl, even making it to the conference championship game next week.
hmm hmm Yeah, I mean, yeah, and also for context, Buffalo was at home in that playoff game, so a rookie quarterback playing at the reigning MVP's home, yeah, you're gonna get your ass blown out. Pause. You know what I'm saying? Like, it ain't gonna work. You feel me? That shit ain't gonna work. So, yeah, I think the score will be much different this time around because I think being that Denver was able to take a little bit of time to rest. Bo Nix, he's not going to correct what he's been making mistakes on this year all of a sudden, but I'm sure Sean Payton's getting him prepared. Sean Payton is a well seasoned playoff coach himself, so he's been in these situations before. So it's not going to be a cakewalk for any one of those two teams. Um, I would not be surprised if it's a low scoring game. And it will come down to the trenches. And that goes for all four of those games. If your trenches ain't right in this time of the year, man, you're not gonna make it too far. Look at the Eagles last year. They both sides of the ball in the trenches was elite. You know what I'm saying? So they gave the Kansas City Chiefs fits once they got to the Super Bowl. So it comes down to out of the last four teams here, whose offensive line can hold up, whose defensive line could terrorize. And I think that game will be a great example of what we will see in this whole entire playoffs anyway. So but yeah, it's pretty damn intriguing, man. I think, and plus Josh Allen's must see TV, man. Like I do love watching him play football.
Yeah,
So I think we owe it to him to give him a view when that game comes on.
facts. Nah, I agree. Can't hate on them. Can't hate on them. How about Texans versus the Pats? Texans are coming to Gillette after just obliterating the Steelers, where the Pats defeated the Chargers. Now we have Stephon Diggs going against his old former team that he played for last season.
hmm
Um, yeah. So, what do you think about this matchup? Because we know we got that defense is real. We talk about Denver. This defense is on another level as well. That being the Texans going up against this past team with a young quarterback who didn't really look comfortable. Maybe he has some jitters being in his first playoff game, but it didn't really look that good for about two and a half quarters. Um, now has to go against a monster of a defense. So what are you looking for in that game?
Well, that game right there, I've been saying it all week to a lot of people. Like, I think both offenses are similar. Like, this is not to say Drake May is not playing out of his mind this regular season. He has played out of his mind, but the postseason is a different beast. You could have and you could go back and a lot of anybody who's watching or listening to this, go back and look at Tom Brady's numbers outside of Super Bowls in the postseason. He does not light it up the same way he does in the regular season because it's a different beast. This is not like the NBA where your star player is actually going to put up 30 in a playoff game. Like a Steph Curry is going to come out of nowhere and do his thing and give you the sleep move. You know what I'm saying in a playoff game. Um, but Tom Brady, obviously greatest quarterback of all time, greatest postseason quarterback of all time as well. Got a bunch of Super Bowl records, play postseason records, but He had postseasons where he struggled. There was a reason why they went in 10 years without a championship. It wasn't because there was other teams that were better. They went to AFC championships too, but he struggled in some games. Without that, with all that being said, like Drake May struggling a little bit in the first like half of the game or three-quarters of the game, that was, that you if you've seen it before, if you watch a lot of football, first time starters struggle. It's not easy, and especially when you're
Yeah,
playing defenses that are, you know, dialing it up. Like it's a tough game, man. Like, but the one thing I can say about the New England Patriots, they've been a very resilient team this year. So they hold up strong. And I think the big difference between this team that we have this year from last year, I don't think is only because Drake May has ascended, because we could see the ascending happening throughout the last year. Like we could see little spurts of it. It was the fact that um getting Vrabel into the building as the head coach also brought in veterans, like
McDaniel's
um,
OC again.
getting McDaniels into the building as well. Carlton Davis as the veterans there. You have you signed Milton Williams, who was a Super Bowl champion. You got Harold Landry from Tennessee. He came as a free agent. Christian Ellis was there last year, but he's getting more playing time. You know what I'm saying? And on offense, they got Moses Morgan Moses to man the right side. You know what I'm saying? Like and then Steph Diggs as a receiver, they have guys, they have dudes, they have veterans, they had a good mix of youth and vets. That's what the team should. That's what's gonna happen when you do that to a team. You're gonna have guys who will step up because they've been in these positions before. But the guys who haven't been in this position before, those are the ones who are like their heart rate's a little bit higher than most people. So it was expected, and even like looking at the Houston side of things, C.J. Stroud, this is not his first rodeo, but I don't know what it was that was you know freaking him out in that game. He probably was losing confidence with his offensive line, which happens. If you see a TJ Watt coming by you and a Highsmith and all those guys on that defensive line, that front seven of that Pittsburgh Steelers defense is tough. Like I don't think people realize that. They make it seem like he just was not he shouldn't be struggling. Like yeah, he will. Like the offensive line is not that great, but also they went against a pretty good front. So but both quarterbacks had jitters, but both quarterbacks had moments too. They threw for 250, got a tug. You know what I'm saying? Like they did enough to keep their team in the game until their defenses shut the door. So that's all that matters. When it comes to playoff ball, you got to manage that game best you can. Those two have to minimize their turnovers, or it's going to be a long night. That's for sure. But yeah, I mean, again, I don't think the elements will matter, in my opinion, because I don't. We're not going to act like Drake May has played in snow games before. I don't think he has. He's from North Carolina. Uh, the Patriots are. This is not your Tom Brady's Patriots. Like this is a different type of team. But also Houston being in the elements, I don't think that's going to be advantage for either side. I just think whoever's defensive line can wreak havoc is going to really take control of this game. But yeah, those two quarterbacks will cancel themselves out, in my opinion. I think Texans have the better defense because they have playmakers. Like every level of their defense, you can name a guy that can wreak havoc on their own. And I've watched some Texans games, man. They play well together, dude. The Patriots look great against the LA Chargers. I'm not taking that away from them whatsoever. They're pretty stout defense as well. But let's be honest, Herbert with one arm, with one hand, they had to do design runs because their starting running back was out after two snaps, and then freaking his O line is decimated. So of course, I would have been surprised if the pass couldn't get to him. You know what I'm saying? And when the game was double digit lead, like yeah, pin your ears back and get him. So it should be a good game. It's gonna be a close one, but it's gonna be a good one.
Yeah, it's gonna be a close one, definitely. Yes. Now I know we said you can't really kill um Stroud based on like the competition he's going against that defensive pressure that does exist in Pittsburgh. But at the same time, if he can't do that again and expect for them to win, I think there's going to be more pressure on him because on the other side of the field isn't an aging quarterback like Aaron Rodgers. You got a guy who's mobile with a dynamic arm in Drake May. So you're going to have to be better to offset what Drake May brings.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, you and they both them guys obviously have to do the right thing with protecting the football. CJ Stroud is not his, like, again, it's not his first rodeo. Like, out of all the quarterbacks left, he has 3 wins in the playoffs. You know what I'm saying? He's win wild card games. This has been his Achilles heel, is winning a divisional round game. So he's due. He's due at some point to get over that hump. Um, but again, also, like, I don't know if Drake May is going to go off. This is yet to be seen. Keep in mind they played the same Texans defense last year, and he threw 2 picks, fumbled the ball. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, he has a different roster now, but no, like, this is not, this is chess, man. Like, we don't know. Like, this is gonna be much more interesting than we think. He could go off. Don't get me wrong, he could go off, but we also could see the Houston Texans taking care of business. So, like, see, both quarterbacks need to protect the ball. CJ Stroud especially, because he's in he's playing away. He's not home. He can't allow momentum to swing because he wants to get too happy in the pocket. Just take care of your business. You know, throwing interceptions in the red zone shouldn't be happening. Can't be fumbling just to fumble. Like, don't make the game easier for the other team because you're not being disciplined. So, but I do agree with you. Like, he absolutely cannot do that. He cannot fumble it 5 times again. Cannot happen.
Yeah.
You almost certainly could just give the game away to the Patriots at that point.
All right. And it's worth noting, too, it's looking like Nico Collins won't be available after entering concussion protocol.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas on the flip side, it looks like Gonzalez for the Pats is available to play Sunday. So that's going to be something to look out for and see how that goes in the field. Because
Yeah, I
that
mean,
sucks losing Nico Collins
with
if he's not
something
going to be
like
available
that,
again.
here's my thing with when it comes to those things. Those are headline things. Like, people will use that as like, oh well, one is they don't have their best weapon. Who's to say? Like, they didn't have Nico Collins playing well at all against Pittsburgh to begin with. He had 22 yards,
Hmm.
and it was all freaking Christian Kirk the whole game. You feel me? And their run game was kicking ass. So, again, if you could establish the run, you don't need a number 1 receiver to do anything for you. CJ Stroud has played games without Nico Collins. You know what I'm saying? But it also makes it hard for you as a team on the defensive side because now you don't have a guy to pinpoint to take out. Because they would have focused on Nico, like, bracket him and, like, put Christian Gonzalez on him. Now Christian Gonzalez is going to probably most likely stay on one side of the field. And guess what they're going to do? I'm staying away from that side of the field. Let me just pick on the other side. You know what I'm saying? Let me make some magic elsewhere. So it kind of makes it easier for a quarterback who doesn't need to focus and zero in on one receiver that's your main guy. So I don't know if it's a true advantage. It does look good on paper, as far as scouting goes and, like, preparation for the other teams, but at the end of the day, if those young receivers at the Houston Texans are not dropping passes and they execute their routes properly and CJ Stroud is on time, it still could be a long day. You know what I'm saying? Because I've seen the Patriots lose to teams that didn't really have big weapons. You know what I'm saying? They just found a way to lose just because. Like, they lost to the Bills. Who the fuck the Bills have? You know what I'm saying? Nobody. They had nobody in that game. They just let James Cook run around all over the place. So it's up to the Patriots to not get into that mindset thinking like, okay, now they don't have their best receiver. Let's just, you know what I'm saying? Let's focus on stopping the run. Like, okay, well, then they'll just counter you on that. You need to just play complementary football as a defense, take care of business where it matters most, and you don't have to worry about it because you not having to face Nico Collins, like, he's not The guy is not, Randy Moss. Like, it's not like it's going to be the biggest loss in the world for the Texans. They've been there before. So you just got to take care of your business. Don't worry about what kind of losses they got on their end, because you might have losses too at some point during the game. It's all about adjusting yourself and
Mm.
dealing with the adversity along the way. Because let's be honest. Let's say Nico left the game itself. Like, he was playing, he left the game. That's different. That's different. That changes Houston's game plan. So now they can't focus on using him as their focal point to get him going. So now they lose their rhythm as the offense. Now, when you're going through your whole practice week without your best player, you have a different game plan you're going to set up for your offense to get prepared for that game. You understand what I'm saying? So it's a little bit different when it comes to that. So with the Patriots, it also works in their favor too, because they know he's not going to be playing. Let's focus on these other guys. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, it just
Yeah.
equals out regardless, because your preparation is gonna be, very straightforward. It's different if you like game time decision. You're like, oh, great, game time decision, bro. I don't even know if the guy's playing or not. Great. Or, and better yet, the guy actually is active to play and then he can't finish, just like what happened to Hampton for the Chargers. I'm sure when the Patriots saw Hampton just not play after 2 downs, they're like, okay, great. We don't have to worry about Hampton anymore. But now the Chargers are like, shit, we don't have anybody after Hampton besides Vidal, and he's not as elusive as Hampton is. He's not as effective in the way we had the game plan throughout the week. You understand what I'm saying? So it's like, at the end of the day, if the Patriots are winning this game this weekend, they have to focus on what matters, which is protecting the football, um, not allowing CJ Stroud to get into rhythm, and protect home field. You're at home. You have the advantage. You're at the crib. Like, you shouldn't. There's no excuses. You got the potential. You have a most. Who knows if he's going to be the MVP? You have an MVP caliber quarterback. You are not. You have the advantage. You have no excuse to lose. So who's pressure? Who got the pressure? Is they would have the pressure. Houston. If I'm Houston, I'm coming in there like, I took care of my business last week. I'm on the road. Okay, we're talking about another business trip. Let's go do this shit. Fuck it. What's the worst that can happen? We lose outside the crib, go back to Cancun. Like, the Patriots are the ones who have all the healthy players, the quarterback that everybody believes is MVP. They have something to prove. Houston is just a blip in the screen for some people. They don't really think that it's gonna be that serious from their end. So, um, but yeah, I don't take too much out of the Nico news. Like, it's unfortunate. I feel for him because that concussion did not look good, and that's his second one of the year, and he's had concussions before in his career. So
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely unfortunate. So it sounds like you're leaning towards, if you had a pick today, would you be leaning towards Texans or the Pats?
wow, yeah.
Or
I
or
mean,
is
I
it
don't
that
know.
close like you can't even call it right now?
It is that close to me. Yeah, it really is. Because again, I feel like, believe it or not, I really do feel like these two teams are the same type of team. Like, the way they're being coached is the same
Yeah.
to me. Um, I would say Texans have the edge on defense because I think they have better playmakers on their defense. And I'm not even talking about the pass rushers. Their DBs are
Yeah.
nasty. They make plays, dude. Like, they don't fuck around. And then Al Shahir, um, yeah, he's a manic individual, bro. Like, I don't want no parts of dealing with that dude. But the Patriots also have some dogs on their end. But and Carlton Davis is a playoff. He's been in playoff positions before. Milton Williams, Harold Landry has been in a few playoffs with Tennessee. So it's not, both sides don't have a bunch of slouches. They just have to. It comes down to those quarterbacks. One of those two guys have to just find a way to step up and not do what they did last week. Like Drake May was fortunate that when the Chargers were at the 1 yard line, they did nothing with the ball when he fumbled it there. So it's like, a lot of good things have to go your way, but you also have to make sure you do your part. So it comes down to those two quarterbacks. Who of those two are going to step up and actually show out and help their defenses out? Because those defenses will do they're going to do their job. But who out of those quarterbacks will step up and do their thing? And if you ask me, it would be Drake May just because of how his season has gone. So it would be that the edge would go to the New England Patriots at the moment for me, but it's still kind of too close to, it's going to be a tough one to call out. It's going to look ugly like the Chargers game. That 16-6 score, that was like an ugly ass score. So it could be like that
Yeah.
again, especially if we're talking about some weather's coming in. Yeah.
Yeah, man. Yeah. So I'm going the advantage with a patch. So just two reasons. I think May has proven to be better this season than CJ Stroud. I think that is going to be a plus for them, and the fact that they're at home is why I'm giving the edge. Why I'm giving the edge to the Pats to squeeze one out of there in advance of the conference championship game. So the last matchup we haven't talked about yet is the division foes, Niners at Seahawks, rematch from Week 18, in which we saw the Seahawks win the division after defeating the Niners 13-3. Niners have been just decimated. Well, they have been decimated with injuries all year, but this guy got even worse. George Kittle looked like he kind of Achilles injury last week, so he's out. It's going to put a lot more burden on Christian McCaffrey and Brock Purdy to come through. What's your thoughts on this game?
Yeah, man. Well, we just got word that this morning that Sam Darnold's questionable for the game with an oblique injury.
He's playing.
We know he's playing. We know he's playing. But that it doesn't work in his favor because he already has the reputation already of not being able to perform in big games. You're the team that got the number one seed in the NFC, so everybody's gonna look at you like this is gonna be a bigger, you know, there's gonna be a bigger like microscope on you. Like they're gonna look at you like it's gonna be simply focused on if I'm the Niners, I'm coming in that game. I'm playing Bob Marley's No Worry. I'm not worried about a goddamn thing. Like, this is like a second home to me. We've been here before. So it's like, it is what it is. What's the worst that can happen? The same way I feel about Houston going to New England is the same way if I'm the Niners going, because you're a big underdog over there. Like, you were a big underdog going to Philly. And then they were actually playing from behind when Kittle got hurt. And they still managed to find a way to win. So all that tells me is this. They're getting coached up well. Brock Purdy is nails. McCaffrey is nails. They're just a team that just builds themselves to deal with adversity. And Kyle Shanahan, this is probably his best coaching job that he's done thus far in his career.
Yeah,
he's been so
all the
spot
circumstances.
on yeah, it's been amazing. Like, do you know who's second to Drake May in pass attempts per yard? I think it is.
I think it's Brock Purdy.
He's third.
I think I heard that. Is it Brock Purdy?
Mac Jones. Mac Jones is second.
Oh, goodness.
Yeah.
That's
so
crazy.
All that tells you is this. He is a quarterback guru. He is fixing guys on the fly. Because Mac Jones is being fixed on the fly. He's a backup. When you're a backup, you don't get a lot of practice time until you are actually deemed the starter because the guy is actually out. You understand what I'm saying?
Yep.
So he's doing a lot he's making chicken salad out of this shit. You know what I'm saying? He really is. Like, he's making chicken salad out of chicken shit. And it's impressive. You know what I'm saying? So, but let's be real. Although I do believe and I feel like the Niners may possibly pull an upset, Seattle is no different than all the we're gonna see a lot of good defenses this weekend. We're gonna see a lot of good defenses. And I believe the Seahawks swept the Niners this year in the regular season. Correct me if I'm wrong.
No, split.
They split it. Okay, so
split.
they split it. So, but they played 2 weeks ago at Seattle.
Yep.
Right?
A week for the division crown.
For the division. and then the game turned itself ugly
And only put up
self
3
when
points.
that
Niners.
interception happened. Right. So the game got ugly once that weird that weird fluky interception that was thrown by Brock Purdy, which probably would have never been an interception 9 times out of 10, being thrown to McCaffrey. Um, it's gonna be another close one. You know how these Seattle and San Francisco games go, man. It goes way back, and it's gonna be a tough one. It really comes down to if Sam Darnold can compete in this game. Like, will he be able to finish? Because if you're talking about an oblique injury, I'll be honest with you. I strained my oblique playing flag football. If you can't laugh, you can't cough, you can't run, you can't do anything like sudden movement. It hurts like a mug. So it's like if he truly has an oblique strain and he's a quarterback and he has to do all like twerking with his torso, he's gonna struggle a little bit. And I know the two running backs had a hell of a game against San Francisco a couple weeks ago, but I don't think San Francisco's gonna let that happen again. Robert Saleh is a very damn good defensive coach, so uh, I'm leaning Seattle
Hell yeah,
just
absolutely.
because off the strength of them being at home. But I would not be surprised if San Francisco wins. All I know is we're gonna see an all NFC West NFC Championship game. That's what I believe. But if that doesn't happen, be prepared for a Bears Patriots Super Bowl. That's all I gotta say.
Then like yeah, like this is tricky to me because while I do feel that it's hard to beat a team multiple times in the same season when you're in the same division. It's like, damn, but the Niners are just so decimated. Like, yeah, Shanahan's a great coach, but I just feel like that they're just like limping to the finish line right now and trying to like be the home team, trying to like play at their crib in the Super Bowl because it's at Levi Stadium and everything. But I just don't know if I can see them like pulling it off. But I
Mm,
kind of can just because it's so hard to beat a team multiple times in your division, and you guys know each other inside and out. It's like,
hmm
and the visit games to me are always like, I don't want to say, I don't know if fluke is the right word to use, but like I don't usually read too much in division games because like, man, they guys know each other inside and out. It's it's
Right.
it's bound to happen. They're gonna get each other every now and then. You know what I'm saying? So, but yeah, I mean, like they talk about the underdogs going into Philadelphia, and they just pulled it off. And now, I mean, that's not that's Seahawks in a different beast, I would say, even though they're not the Eagles were the defending champions and everything. The Seahawks team is a different beast, um, crazy defense and everything. So I'm really interested to see how this one plays out, but I really can't call it. This is tough one for me.
Yeah, man. I mean, let's be honest, man. Like this whole weekend is tough to predict. Like a lot of us are
Yeah,
gonna find ourselves predicting games out of like either bias or some type of emotion towards it. As you being a Patriot fan, I would not expect you to choose the Texans to win. That would be kind of weird. You know what I'm saying? Like me being a Packers fan last week, there would be nothing in nothing. I don't care if the Packers were underdogs by two touchdowns. I would have picked them to win that game. You understand what I'm saying? Just because that's my squad. And your squad is the Patriots. You're gonna pick them. But me personally, like I don't know how I'm gonna. I'm interested to watch these games. Like I'm interested because the numbers may not matter. You know what I'm saying? The regular season, you know, how you did in the regular season may not matter at all. The Bills proved that. You know what I'm saying? They went against the Jags, went into that playoffs. I think they won 9 out of 10 games, some crazy number. They were at home. They had the lead going into the last 4 minutes of the game. You understand what I'm saying? Like, but they went against the Buffalo Bills and Josh Allen. Josh Allen had nobody. Both his receivers tore their ACL. One of them stayed in the game with the torn ACL. How the hell did they win that game? God only knows why. Um, how the Packers lost. Nobody could have predicted that one. That's crazy. You up 21-3 at half, like you shouldn't lose that. You understand what I'm saying? The Patriots game, before it became a 16-6 game, it was actually what, 6-3 at one point into the third quarter or some
yeah.
shit like that. That was not a blowout. That was a close game. It was just Justin Herbert couldn't do anything on offense because he was, I don't know what was going on with that offense. They even, matter of fact, they fired their OC after that game. So just so people know how bad that offense was being ran, they fired their OC. Um, and then you're talking about that Pittsburgh game. I think that was the one game I felt really confident that Pittsburgh would have lost, unless there was some Aaron Rodgers magic sprinkled in there. But I think just the Texans were just too overwhelming on defense for what the Pittsburgh Steelers had out
And
there.
kind of a lot to ask for Aaron Rodgers.
Aaron Rodgers is
Kind of
doing,
a lot to
yeah, and
ask for
then
Aaron Rodgers at this
DK
stage of
just
his
coming
career.
back from a suspension, and you know what I'm saying, like they don't really have the weapons over
Yeah.
there, like MVS, Thielen. You serious? Like get out of here. Um, and then the Eagles game. I guess you could say that was surprising, but we've seen it the last month with the Eagles, man. They couldn't score on anybody in the second half. The whatever the blocking scheme, there's clearly something going on with their scheme that even Robert Saleh was almost hinting towards during his press conferences during the week prior to the game, and he proved the point after the fact because it's like there's something wrong with that offense. Even with Saquon being so good at what he does, he wasn't good enough. You understand what I'm saying? Like, and
Mm-hmm.
then I think Shanahan just really outcoached Sirianni. So it really does come down to a few things: how well you're getting coached for these games, how good your defense is, which quarterback is willing to march it. Like what Stafford did against the Panthers, even though he didn't play his best ball, because I think the Panthers got up for that game. I think the Panthers just really played good football. Like I think people don't realize how good of football that team had played in that game. But Stafford truly had an MVP moment with that drive. Like that was an elite fucking drive. I don't think anybody realized that. Like that was a very great way to end the game for the Rams. So but yeah, so it's very unpredictable. You don't really know, man. All these games were close at going into the fourth quarter. So now we're talking about the 2-1 seeds playing now, and the other teams that have a little bit of momentum going into the next games. Who knows? We might have some even closer games coming down to field goals, possibly.
Yeah, man. Like they talk about like this season has just been like so unpredictable from previous years and everything, which I think is good for the league because, like, I mean, who would have thought that like Matthew Stafford will be leading MVP candidate this season, or like that I don't know Drake May year two can be like the runner up type thing. You know what I'm saying? When
Hmm.
nobody thought that like the Patriots would be like a 14-3 record coming into the season. I thought they would be like 9-8, maybe 10-7, but hey, 14-3. So yeah, this is really fun that we like. There's no like real dominant team that like, oh my god, they're gonna win the Super Bowl. No one thought that like there was like that type of team coming into this postseason. So everything is up in the air now, and it's just a matter of who executes at the right spot, right moment, type thing, which is great for the sport.
I do agree about that. Yeah. Well, but my question to you is who are you leaning towards with these games outside of the New England game, of course.
Oh man, I'm looking at Denver. I think I'm leaning with Seattle. And I think I'm gonna go with the. I think I'm going with the Bears, man. Just crazy to say. I can't believe I'm saying the Bears. I know. I think that it's going to be hard. They're probably not going to do it, but I think if there's any upset that can happen, it can be the Bears. Just like they feel like you're playing football at the right time type thing. Yeah, they are a wild card team, but they did win the division, so it's a little different.
Hmm.
They're clicking on all cylinders at the right time. It kind of feels like that Packers run with Aaron Rodgers when they won the Super Bowl, being a wild card team, and kind of like even with the Giants teams that went on to win the Super Bowl, kind of reminiscent of that. Not saying that they're going to do that, but it kind of feels like that to me. So I'm probably going to go with Chicago. I'm not confident, but I think if there's one team that I think that can pull off the upset, it would be Chicago. And then did we talk about what was the first game we talked about? I'm trying to think right now. 'Cause I think I mentioned. I think we talked
Denver
about the first
Bills.
game we mentioned. Oh yeah, I'm Denver.
Okay, yeah. I mean,
So I didn't ask you about I didn't ask you about Denver and Chicago.
no, you did. The
Who do you
Denver
have?
Bills
Who
game,
you leaning towards right now?
the Denver Bills game.
Yeah. Are you leaning towards Buffalo?
Yeah, I'm leaning towards Buffalo. I'm leaning towards Buffalo. The
Okay. Okay.
Texans Patriots game. I'm leaning right now. I'm leaning towards Patriots. It's a slight lean. It's not a all the way lean because I'm just again I don't really know if if it was really just the Chargers were really that bad or the Patriots were really that freaking dominant. It could be two things could be true. Um, I'm leaning
Mm-hmm.
the Rams because it's obviously fuck Bears, but being let's be honest, like I feel like the Rams are in the right trajectory to get where they need to be. And I'm also leaning Seattle. But I could be wrong. This could be all wrong. It could be all wrong. It's so crazy. Like, and even the ones even the picks that you've leaned towards. Let's say it is the Bears. Let's say it is Denver. Let's say it is the Patriots, and let's say it is Seattle. Now we're talking about three of the four teams with second year quarterbacks going to championship games. The AFC would be represented by two teams that have sophomore quarterbacks, and it will be
Sophomore
in
QBs.
Denver. Right. And then you're going to have the number one pick of the draft going to Seattle. And he's been playing this cardiac football all freaking second half of the year. Oh, that just, I ain't going to be the one to complain. I'm going to be putting my hands up saying cinema. You know what I'm saying? So, however it goes down, I'm going to be satisfied as a fan of football. And as I said in my pod that I recorded last week, I always say it to people. I don't hate the Patriots. I just some of the fans could be the Dave Portnoy type fans are the ones that piss me off because they're just unrealistic and weird. But everybody else is cool. It's what it is. I like talking football with Patriot fans. Like some of them can be kind of like they have they get a little too they there's I know you heard
Aggressive?
the terms green teamer with Celtics fans. They're kind of like the red, white, and blue teamers. Like they
No.
think they think it's happening again. That's how their mindset is, which they should. But it gets a little too unrealistic. So I try to tone it down a bit so that they don't blow my head up with all this nonsense sometimes. Um, but nah, I don't have no quarrels with that. I just can't stand some of the fans that just be doing the most. I'm like, you just calm out there, man. Relax, dog. It's not that deep. Like, be passionate about your team, but your team is not you. You ain't putting the pads on. You just root, buy your apparel, and just be happy. You've been blessed for 20 plus years. Be grateful. You know what I'm saying? Have some humility, but some people don't believe in humility, so it's all good.
Nah, some people definitely don't. All right, so it's good to know that we got so we got our quote unquote not our official picks in, but it was good to talk about this weekend. Some great football that is gonna be upon us. We can wrap it up right now though. Anything you got to plug before we get out of here?
Yeah, man. Sports Talk with the Spain. Check me out on my YouTube. I'll be having my audios back up probably next month, with probably an episode just before the Super Bowl. Probably some NBA trade deadline. We got to chop it up with some NBA because it's getting hot. The stove is getting hot in the NBA. But yeah, Sports Talk with the Spain. You'll probably
Oh,
see me
definitely. Yeah, yeah,
again.
yeah.
You'll probably see me at E-Man again on that for sure. More going forward because the NBA is going to be primary.
Facts.
But find me on YouTube. But more importantly, make sure you plug into Mr. Vincent himself and his podcast. I like supporting my brother in his journey and everything because uh you know when we do this in our leisure it's all in fun but it's all in like this is something we're passionate about. And I do want to mention as well, Lynn Jones from the Jacksonville the woman from Jacksonville, I can't recall what the newspaper she works for. Shout out to her. That was one of the greatest things I ever seen on a presser. And don't get me wrong, I think pressers are necessary for coaches, players to get the critical, questions and, to nip, get into their heads to find out how they feel about the game or what's going on. But in that moment, she found an opportunity to give grace to someone and give words of affirmation because these coaches are human beings, man. I'm sure he was beating himself up, and sometimes you got to show love in the place that you are at, and that relationship between media and sports needs to be better anyway. So I want to say that was one of the greatest things that I've seen in the past weekend outside of the actual games that were played. But yeah, man, podcast on the YouTube, holla at me, Sports Talk with DesPain, man.
All right, my guy. Well, I appreciate you for coming on here, man. Well, hopefully we'll chop it up before this football season ends. Man, I will see you online and everything, and we'll go back to it soon, I'm sure.
Yes, sir.